So in our last lesson, we went and applied a background, a sky background, to the actual viewport background, which we've noticed does not change as a camera moves through our scene. We're going to correct that situation. Now, the first thing we can do, and this is the most practical, there's one of two ways to approach this, is to go ahead, if you're not going to look up at the sky, we can go into our standard primitives and grab a tube. Now, a tube is like a cylinder that's hollowed out. So I'm going to create this cylinder around my scene. Now, notice you look out the window and you see the color of the actual tube. So we're inside this tube now. Now, the next thing I want to do, I have my filter switched on, but I'm going to, with the object selected, go into UV map and use that modifier. This object is cylindrical. So I'll back up here and show it to you. I'm going to select cylindrical. So now when I apply a background to this cylinder, I'll be able to wrap that thing around here. All right, so what I'll do is, so now I'm going to go ahead out and grab that maps, and under diffuse color, I'm going to go out and find a background. I'll grab the same background, or let's try something different here. Let's do, these are all skies, which are great, but there's also backgrounds in here. For instance, this one here that's got the actual ground and the sky. So I'm going to go ahead and take that image, and I'm going to drag it out to the tube. I'll make it visible. Now what's going to happen is it's going to take, by default, it took that image and wrapped it around that tube, which isn't going to be too practical. It's going to really stretch the heck out of it. So I'm going to go back into my modifier, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and tile. And let's say I'll do a tile 4 times. Now, notice here in the backgrounds, it appears that we're looking out, we see the ground, we see the window, a little bit more realistic. We can also scale that object down more so we can see parts of it as well as move it. See, we're just manipulating the background. But what's going to happen is, now as I animate, and I'll go ahead and maximize this viewport, as I animate, notice how the background remains in its place, which is more realistic. Okay, when we look out the window, things actually move. They don't move, actually. They stay stationary, but we're moving. So that is the preferred method to do this. And of course, we can do very different things here. For instance, I can take my camera, and as I move, notice how the scene, now there's a flaw in the scene. That's something we would have to fix. We may have to go and rotate our scene just so that we don't see it. All right, and I'm glad that happened, because that gives us an. But now we can go ahead and move, and notice how as we pan around, and there again, there's another spot. So we may want to stretch it only 4 times. Okay, which makes a nice transition there. Now we have to go ahead and rotate the shape another time. So it is a little bit of tweaking. You've got to set your cameras up and pretty much know what you're shooting before you actually start rendering. Okay, so now we could say, all right, this camera is going to shoot from here across the room, and pretty much it just went out the wall. But notice how that background works. So this is the preferred method that I want you to use with backgrounds if you elect to do that. The other thing we could do is simply go in, create a box in that window, which I'll do that. I'll come down here, create a box, paper thin, pull that thing into the actual window, and we can apply that bright white. Now that we've got this self-illuminating material on the wall there, we can do this, put it out there, and of course your camera looking straight on is not going to look real. But if I was doing a rendering, maybe, let's see, I'm trying to find the right angle here. I might have to go down and adjust this. Maybe I was focusing on the desk and I had my camera over here to the side. Now I could do a quick render of that. We'll do a render setup and do a single. Yeah, I'll overwrite that. Now once it renders, with a little bit of detail, like a window seal around there, it would appear that that light is coming in. And we could add some lighting effects to come in like we did in past tutorials. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit with some of the different various features of creating what you see out your windows.